All right, guys, so we are recording now, and I'm going to share my screen. We're going to start teaching. There you go. All right, guys, so I'd like to start with, let's go here to the very end. Let's start with this, guys. So here, I trust you guys probably notice the queen and king endgame, and just to see if you guys can finish it. And so I'll show you, there's many ways to finish off this king right here. My favorite approach is to simply get this king on the last row. So either the last row or last column, but get the king in the corner and make it so that the queen is blocking the king from getting out of the corner. So an example would look like putting our queen on row 6, blocking row 6. Let's say if they go back, if they ever go to the corner, then what you want to do is you want to put your, so if they ever go on the last row, you put your queen on the second last row and you just leave it there. Now this king is stuck on row 8, and while it's stuck on row 8, you just slowly bring your king over. So let's say they move, and your king comes over, and with the queen and the king, you just get your king facing the king, straight facing like this. And if you can get in this position, guys, where the king is on the last row and your king is facing their king, then no matter where they go, if they go right, we just deliver checkmate with the queen. Or if they go that way, checkmate with the queen. But that's how you would checkmate with the queen. Let's say the king starts off here. Let's play a few moves to get the king way in the middle. Let's say the king is way in the middle. What do? Well, again, we just do the same process. So this king, let's say, is on row 5. We slowly push him back to row 8. That's what we're thinking here. So we start off by cutting off row 4. Say if they end up going back, then we cut off row 5. If they stay on row 6, so if they ever go back, we just take that row. If they stay on row 6, then our king comes over, tries to get face to face, and then if after black moves it's still face to face, we can also just take row 6 this way, or we can go here and then take row 6, and now the king is on row 7. And we chase it with our king. Now we get row 7. The king is on row 8 now, and we do the same thing, face to face with the king, and we deliver checkmate. All right, guys. So now that was a brief overview of how to do that, and let's see if you guys can do it now. So what I'll do is I will be playing as black. You guys play as white, and we'll sorry I'm late. It's okay, Andrew. So to everybody that just joined right now, I just want to mention that towards the end of the class, in the last 10 minutes, I want to analyze a game. So if you guys can just send me a game, it can be any game of yours. Maybe it's a really good game you played, or maybe it's a game you lost, but you want to learn from. If you just want to send me a game link, guys, and then I'll pick one at the end of the class. Okay, so with that being said, so let's just change this position a bit. Yeah, let's give you guys this position, guys. So you guys are now white. I am black, so I'll be playing as black. I'll be trying my best to win, even though I can't. And you guys, you're white. Just tell me the moves. What I'll do is we'll let everybody unmute for the time being, and then guys, one at a time, you guys just say what move white should play next. And yeah, so guys, there's not a lot of people here, so I don't think I'm not worried about you guys, being too loud or anything. Right, guys? You're all unmuted. Let's go. It's your move.
I think the queen could move to g5 first.
Yeah.
Queen g5 first. All right. Anybody else? We'll have like two people. If they say the same thing, we'll play the move.
Queen g5.
Yeah, queen g5, taking away row 5. That's good. I'm gonna go king d7.
You move the queen to g6.
Queen f6.
Queen g6, queen f6. All right, so honestly, any of those moves are playable. The idea is my king just moved to row 7. So you want to make sure it can never come back to row 6. Yeah, we'll just go f6. But yeah, same thing. I'm gonna now stay on row 7 for as long as I can. So I'm gonna play king c7.
King c4.
King c4. Anybody else?
King c4.
Yeah, king c4. Bringing the king over. Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna go king b7.
King b5.
5.
Yeah, king b5. Face to face. I'm gonna go king c7.
King c5.
King c5.
So king c5, king c5. Okay, you can go king c5. I'll go king b7.
Queen c6.
Queen c6. Any other answers?
Yes, queen c6.
All right, queen c6. You guys are saying the same thing. Queen c6.
Or b6.
Yeah, I was gonna say b6 is probably what I would do. B6 and then just take out row 7. But let's try c6 because this does also lead to a win. Okay, I'm gonna go king b8.
Queen d7.
Queen d, yeah, whatever she said.
Queen d7, that's the move. And also, guys, remember, especially with the queen, make sure that you, like when you're in this position, when the king is in the corner, make sure that the king always has one square to move. Like what I mean is,
Don't get stalemate.
don't get them on stalemate, basically. So like that, see, the king still has a place to move. And then, guys, you can play the last move.
Queen b7.
Queen b7, yeah, or here. Many ways. But yeah, guys, good job here. So as you guys can see, the procedure is pretty. You just take out the rows one by one. You push the king back, and then your king comes in. Try to get face to face, and then you checkmate. So guys, the queen one is good. So I'll show you the rook one. I'll do it a little later. So not yet. Rook one will take a little more time. But in the meantime, let's see. Wonder if some of these will be too difficult. Yeah, let's just stick to other examples here. All right, guys. So I'm gonna give you some endgame scenarios here.
For this question, you could just, the king can't reach the pawn. The pawn can promote.
Yeah. So this one.
Also, you have to watch out for the black pawn.
Yeah. So that's the thing with end games. But yeah. Honestly, here we can just straight up promote. Here's black to move. But yeah, we can promote here. And then we'll be able to, our king is able to catch the pawn, and our pawn is way too far away for the king, so they cannot catch the pawn. So Now remember here, it is black to move, right? And this is one black one here. Then we pushed. So let's try this one here, guys. It's the same one, but remember last time it was black to move, so it still is black to move, but you guys play black's move. What would you play as black here? What is black's best move in this position?
Pawn d5. Getting away from the king.
On c5?
d5.
d5?
Yeah.
Oh, the pawn can't go to d5. It can only go straight.
Wrong.
All right.
The king towards the pawn. I don't know.
Okay, I like that idea. If you notice here, guys,
D-
I think, yeah.
D8, and then the pawn goes to G5, and then you go to D8, and the pawn promotes again,
Uh-huh.
and then you move the king to E8.
Uh-huh.
Pawn promotes again.
Uh-huh.
You go to F7.
Yep.
They get their queen or something, and you take it.
Yeah. Really good visualization. Wow, very good. Actually, very impressive. Yeah, so that was the move. It's to simply move the king towards the pawn here. And guys, like that's the thing about endgames. The nice thing about endgames is you don't have a lot of options to choose from. For example, here, we either move the pawn or we move the king. And the tough thing about the endgame is you gotta visualize precisely. You gotta be sure what's gonna happen after each move. So we saw if we pushed here, they push, 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 and basically they promote, we can't catch the pawn. But if we get our king attacking that pawn, then we can catch the pawn. And was this pawn gone? Black can draw at least. So another way we can also do this, it's called the square rule. Yeah, the thing is, I won't go over that today. We'll leave that for another time. But basically, guys, like a quick way to kind of show you the square rule is so what do? Whenever there's a pawn and the king, you draw like a mini box with the pawn. So you draw like a perfect square box. And how you draw that box is so you get the pawn. I like to just pretend it's a bishop, make it go diagonally until it hits the ground or row 8. And then from here, just draw a perfect square to the pawn. You can do this in your head. And then what you do is like, if you see that the king can enter the box, so this is your box now, this perfect square. You don't even have to draw the square. You can just draw like half a square. But so this is our box. If you see that the king can enter the box, that means the king can catch the pawn. So this little technique you can use. So let's see. Maybe, okay, we'll do one example with the square rule, just to get you guys warmed up with it. All right, guys, let's try this one here. So here it's a white to move. So white's gonna go to h5 probably. And guys, you draw the square. So if you're playing white, you draw the square after playing your move. So after going to h5, you draw that square and then try to tell me who's gonna win this game, or is it gonna be draw? So really there's two options. White's gonna win or draw. So try drawing the square. Let me know what you think. All right, Gloria. Draw.
I think draw.
Yep. So this is a draw because if we go to h5 and we draw that square, see, just the bishop. Imagine it's like bishop. As soon as it hits the ground, draw that square. Oh, yep, the king enters the box, so it is a draw. And we played along. Also, like if you're really good at visualizing, you can just visualize this whole thing in your head. So you can go, okay, pawn h5, king e8, pawn h6, king f8, pawn h7, king g7. Oh, draw. So let's see. So I'm just gonna switch this one around a bit. Here's what I'll do. Yeah, so we'll make the position this, guys. It's white to move. Tell me if this is gonna be a win for white or a draw.
A win
Let
for
me know. Make sure you draw your square. But remember, it's white to move. So you play white's move, and then you draw the square from there. So you don't draw the square right here because it's still white to move. You play the move, and then you draw the square from there. Okay, Andrew.
It's a white to win because if you move the pawn to g4 and then you draw the box, the king can't get in.
Yep, 100%, just like that. That simple. Now the king, even after it moves, it's still not in. So we promote. Or we can go g4, king here. So king here, pawn here, king here, pawn here. I'm honestly, some of you guys probably can visualize that well, especially if you have a lot of time. But so let's see. So we went over some end games. Now let's go over the rook. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go over the rook. So let's go here. Edit this position. All we're gonna do is we're gonna change the queen with the rook. And I'm gonna show you guys how you do this. Let's see what analysis board. All right. So guys, with the rook, it's a little more tricky, but I find honestly, if you can learn how to checkmate with just the rook, that's probably the most important one, like a really important one to know as well. So in end games, like you'll most likely end up checkmating with just one queen or sometimes a rook. And I've seen when people don't know how to checkmate a rook, you're up 5 points, but the game still ends up a draw. So that's why it's important to know how to checkmate the rook. Now, how you do it is actually the same scenario. Can you go get something? Can I? Yeah, you can go get something, Andrew. Yeah, guys, so with the rook and king endgame, how you checkmate with the rook is actually the same thing. You want this king on the last row, or you can also have them, on the last column, but you want them backed up in the corner. And you also want your rook kind of in a spot where it's, so ideally, our rook will want to be on the second last row, and the king is stuck on the last row. And then we bring our king over and checkmate it on the very back right. But here's some tricky parts because, so to start this one off, guys, the king is on row 7, so we take out row 6, make sure the king gets stuck on row 7. Now we bring our king over. So now what do we do from here is, the thing is, if this was a queen, so here, I almost want to show you guys different position. So if this was a queen, the king cannot even try to come close to the queen, or else the queen will just take. But with the rook, the king can try to, go after your rook. So if that does happen, what do you want to do? So here, let's play this one along. So let's say they try to go after a rook. Like, this is a common mistake I see. What you don't want to do is you don't want to move your rook away from that row you were just defending, because now the king can just go back on row 6. What you want to do is you move your rook, but you keep it on row 6, so the king is still stuck here. I like to just have my rook on one side. If the king really tries to go after my rook, then just move him all the way to the other side. Like A6, B6. Let's go A6. And then what do you do now is, so the king goes, now we just chase the king. We try to get in a face-to-face position here. So we want to be facing the king, but you'll notice this one thing with the rook is, so right here, guys, we want to get the king here so that our rook can come here and make the king go back, basically. But if you notice here, if we try to get face-to-face, the king just keeps going away. We try to get face-to-face, but the king keeps maneuvering out. And if we check him too early without being face-to-face, the king escapes. So guys, try to find me a solution to this problem right now. So in this position, or here, let's make it this position, guys. How can white get face-to-face with the king, and basically how can white drive the king back to row 8? And if you can make the king go back to row 8, you can repeat the same process on row 8 and checkmate them. So let's go, Gloria.
So, like, I think I kind of have an idea where, like, instead of moving the king, you move the rook instead. To to F6.
Rook F6 check. Let's say the king goes to, like, E7.
And then you, like, move the rook with it, like, along, like, then you move it to E6.
E6. Okay, so yeah, like the thing about this one is our plan is to get the king to go here and check him. But the thing is, if we check him now, so here, let's go. If we check him now like this, the king is just gonna keep staying close to our rook, and we can't do this because they take our rook. So we'll have to move the rook again, and then they now escape. And if we check him, they just keep moving, and we can't check them forever, or else it's gonna be a draw. So not exactly rook F6, but you're on the right track. It is a rook move.
Take E6.
F6, E6. I'm not quite. See, so the trend I see was the way you're thinking is, you want to deliver an attack on the king right away. You want to at least be close to the king, and it's probably how you guys are programmed. Now, what do we want to do here, actually? We don't want the rook close to the king. As you guys saw, if the rook is close to the king, then the king could... It's hard to deliver any sort of checks when we're too close. Like, we're too close now, so we'll have to move it far back again. So there's a move we can do, and so this is like Zugschwan. But here's what we do, guys. So you move the rook, but remember how we got the rook all the way over to this side? So we don't want to be making a move like this or here or anything close to the king. We're close to the king, king will just chase us again. So right now we're far from the king, so we keep our rook far from the king by just moving it on b6. We're still far from the king, but what it does is it reverses the position. Now it's black who has to move. And now black's choice is to either move right into our zone, be face-to-face. And if that happens, then we deliver the check with the rook. And we repeat the process one more time. If they go in the corner, g7, and then what we do is we do the same thing. Our king chases, and now notice how the king has two choices, either move in the corner or come face-to-face. If they ever come face-to-face, we just check the king. If they keep moving the corner, then you go here. And in this position, guys, the king has no choice. The king is gonna come back, and we check, and we get the king on the last row. And now we do the exact same process. So we try to get the king face-to-face, and if they're maneuvering away, then we move the rook. Now notice they're moving this way. They might try to come to a rook. So we just move our rook all the way to the other end, far away from the king, and now we just chase the king. Now again, the king either comes face-to-face, which we can checkmate, or if they try to run away, we just chase it one at a time. And then once we get to the corner, they have no choice and we checkmate. Okay, guys, so let's try to repeat that whole process. I'll keep the position the same. I'll be black, you guys be white. Try to checkmate me, best of luck. And I'll let everybody unmute. So guys, you guys play the first move.
Rook G6.
Rook G6, anybody else? All right, guys, so here, yeah, Rook G6, you get the king on stuck on row 7. Now,
What the?
I'm gonna go king B6.
Yeah, that's weird.
Gloria,
Do you like start moving your king up?
yeah, 100%.
King B4 or C4.
Or yeah, just keep moving it up technically.
That's right. So king B4, C4, they do the same thing. So C4, I'm going to go king C7.
Keep moving your king up.
King C5 or C3.
So king C5.
Sorry, King C5 or D5.
Yeah,
King
like
C5 or
anything.
D5.
I feel like you should do D5 because it gets kind of closer to your rook.
That's true. So king C, now this is a trick question. If this was a queen, this wouldn't matter. C5 or D5, we can play either one. Now here, one move, it leads to checkmate a little faster. And which one do you think that is? C5 or
I think C5.
D5?
I think D5 because if you go C5, then you're not gonna get that like face-to-face thing.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
remember, we're looking for that face-to-face, except if we go C5 right away, it's their turn to move. So they're no longer face-to-face. Then we get in that similar, we try to get face-to-face, they run away position. But again, with this, we can still, use our little tricks and get checkmate eventually. But D5 is a little faster because with D5, we almost invite them to come face-to-face or go to the corner. And so if they do go here, we just go here. But I'm gonna go B7. Now what do you do?
King C5.
Yeah, king C5.
King C5. I'll go king A7.
King B5. King B5.
King B5. All right. Now I'm going to go king B7.
Rook G7.
7.
All right. So now you guys are, see, now I've moved one row back. You guys do that whole process one more time. This time it's checkmate because there's no such thing as row 9. So, all right. So I'm going to go king C8.
Move your king up.
Yeah.
King C6.
King B6 or C6. You can do both, honestly. Okay, so let's try.
King B6.
Let's go as B6. Okay, so definitely I won't go here. That's checkmate. So I'm gonna go D8.
move your king to c6.
All right, king c6. So far, so good. I'm gonna go e8.
Rook A7.
Rook a7. Now that's a good move. That's a really good move. Here's why. Because notice how my king is eventually trying to come to your rook, right? So you just see that and you just move the rook to the other side. So that's a good move. I'm gonna go. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna go king f8.
Move your king up again.
Yeah, king d6. Now you're trying to come face to face. So guys, I'm going to go e8.
Rook d7.
Rook what 7?
d7.
D?
Rook H7.
So d7, h7. And you guys might be thinking, what's the difference? Does it matter where we go? It does. There's actually one spot.
Rook
So
D7.
let's see, h7,
Wait, no.
d7.
b7. So b7, because remember, not h7 because the king is gonna go after a rook again. Not d7 because it's a little difficult to checkmate here. The king's just too close to our rook. So b7. You keep the rook far away from the king, but now it's my turn to move. So I either come face to face, I have to go to the corner. So I'm gonna have to go to f8.
King E6.
Yeah.
e6. I'm gonna go g8.
King F6.
I'm gonna go h8. Almost got it.
King D6.
I'm gonna go g8.
Rook G. No, sorry. Rook B8.
Rook b8. There you go. Well done, Andrew, Gloria, everybody else watching. Good job here. So I'll do a quick recap of this, guys. In the meantime, if I can just have.
Really bad for it. I'm just setting it so it's trying.
Sorry, did somebody answer? Yeah, so guys, I was just gonna ask if you can send me a link to a game you want to analyze. And then, if anybody sends a link, we'll analyze a game. So we'll be practicing a bit more analysis, like how to analyze a game. I'll analyze some games for you. But yeah, guys, in terms of chess, one really fast way to get better, or I guess like if you play more games, you're gonna get better eventually. But if you want to speed up how fast you get better, it's very important that you don't make the same mistakes game after game. And to do that, you'll have to analyze. So we'll be doing like a full class on analysis in the future. But yeah, guys, just keep in mind like analyzing your games will make a huge difference. And so with the rook, you do the same process. You take out one row and you keep that rook on that row, and preferably on the opposite side of the king. And if we end up in this position where it's hard to get face to face, we can just move our rook like one square, but it's still far away from the king. And then from there, we just chase the king to the corner. Once it's in the corner and comes face to face, go one row back, and we just do the same process. Now, we can go like c6 or f6. I mean, like g6 is a little better because same thing. King can't quite go back. And we chase it to the other side. And if our rook is under attack, we move it to the opposite end. And now the king is trying to escape. Well, we can just keep the rook far and get in that position where the king has to come face to face or has to move away. And then we get in the corner, checkmate. And guys, if you want to practice this, like if you didn't quite get it, you want to practice it more, you can go under learn chess basics, and I'm pretty sure you can play this against the computer. Let's see, where is it? I thought it was here. Chess pieces. Is there another? Perhaps practices. Yeah, here it is. Practices, piece checkmates, the very first one. And then you can go the rook mate, last one. And here we can just play against Stockfish, a computer. And also there's a lot of really good checkmate patterns here too. Knight and bishop checkmate. Now that is a very tough one. But we won't go over that, of course. But yeah, guys, so that's how you could practice this. All right, so any games? None? All right, guys, it's okay. We'll choose a game. All right, guys, does anybody want their games analyzed? Because I can just click on your profile, just pick a game, and we can analyze it. We do have time to analyze one game. How do you do that? Honestly, Andrew, if you just like, what's your Lichess username? Then I can just click on your profile and we can analyze one of your games. Maybe if anybody's joined the tournament, we can stalk someone on. Oh no. How come the tournament link is not working? Right, here you go, guys. Now this is the one. Let's see. So we got some people here. I don't have the tournament link here, Andrew. I'll send you the tournament link. So it's this one, this second one. There you go. So this is the correct tournament link. We have 3 people in so far. You can look at one of Aaron's games. Aaron was my student of the past. Yeah, guys. So we're gonna start analyzing on Aaron's game, unless anyone wants to. 1266. So he's got a good rating. It's a pretty good player. All right. So. And by the way, guys, one of my favorite ways to just improve in chess, to know if you're getting better at chess or not, is I keep track of my rating. Normally 2 ratings are important to me. The first one is your rapid rating, rapid or classical rating. I didn't say bullet or blitz. Your rapid or classical, because real chess, you have a lot of time, plenty of time. You don't time out that often. So rapid, so look at your ratings there, and also your puzzle rating. So those 2 ratings, rapid or classical, and puzzles, and then just look at those maybe like every week, every month, try to improve them even just a little bit. All right, let's take a look at this. Okay, let's look at this one. Andrew. So not Andrew, Aaron. So he beat us 1600. Let's see how this happened. So let's analyze the game, guys. So e4, c5. So one sec here. So white is Aaron. So let's see. So Aaron develops their piece, looking really good so far. Okay. I don't know about a3. I don't think a3 is very necessary. I think white can just castle, develop the bishop here. Again, not a bad move. So develops the bishop. Okay. Castle, castles. Okay. So I think black can take the pawn here. But okay. Oh, okay. So this is not a good move. So guys, pawn to b4. Why do you think this move is not good? I think this is the first mistake that Aaron made. So let's try to, as a class, just find out like another, like this person's mistake. Because the more you can spot other people's mistake, then the better you can spot your own mistakes. Better you can avoid yourself from making a mistake. So why is this move, pawn to b4, a mistake? It does, engage with the pawns, try to trade off pawns, open the things up. But what's bad about this move? So guys, see this bishop? I believe it's last class where I showed you guys basically how to fianchetto a bishop. How developing your bishop this way leads to an attack on the queen side. See this? Watch out for all these bishops way far away. So now the rook is hanging and black can take the rook. So that's what, and they did that. Okay. So now Aaron is down in exchange, but still good. I don't know. I don't like this move because it kind of weakens the king side a little bit. Okay, let's see how Aaron does. Okay, so okay, Aaron's got to be careful here of potential back rank checkmates. Oh, this is a good move. So okay, so this is what happened. So Aaron came in to the king, and they tried to get a draw here, and their opponent made a mistake. Okay, I see. Then from here it is all right. So guys, we'll stop it there. Main thing here, good comeback by Aaron. How Aaron came back is they basically managed to get their queen in attacking the king. And notice how way early on, so this pawn structure is just not good. You basically don't want to be moving the pawns in front of your king that much, especially your castle's king, because these pawns are protecting you. So that's why f6 I thought was a bad move, because the pawn structure is weaker. On Aaron's end, just one blunder here at the beginning. Gotta watch out for these, especially bishops. They're sneaky. All right, guys. So that's a sample analyzed game. And what I'll do is, okay, stop